Kia ora, folks. No mai, haere mai. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Cadence to come and chat to us today. People like Cadence make you feel like you've been wasting your time on this planet when you can get to year 13 and have already written 2 musicals. You know, what are the rest of us doing?
Kia ora, my name's Josh. I'm another poet at Wellington High School, and it's also my pleasure to introduce Cadence. She has been published in many magazines and lit journals, way beyond our count, and also has published a book, Animalia. As well as this, won the Katherine Mansfield short story competition and a 2-time winner of Out of the Shelves Rainbow Writing Competition. She's inspired so many young writers like myself, and is just an overall icon. Could you give a hand for Cadence Chung?
Cool. Thank you so much to Mike and Josh for those incredible introductions, and thanks so much for having me. And I did write this in a lecture, so don't do that. Don't write poems in class, but you know, sometimes the inspiration just comes and you have to. So yeah, this is love lyrics. In my English lecture, we learn about love, the abiding theme in literature of the past. We read Keats, who is dead. We read Chaucer, who is even deader. We read Shakespeare's sonnets about beauty fading and life dwindling, and I wonder to myself how he died. The really sort of important thing that Katherine Mansfield has taught me with short stories is that just because they're shorter doesn't mean they're any less important. In fact, it actually means everything has to matter. I don't know how we'd get on, to be honest. I think she would have been quite a feisty sort of character from what I've read and heard. But yeah, I think we're very common in a lot of ways. You know, she started out as a musician, she played the cello, I'm a singer, so a little bit different. I really got into Katherine Mansfield after winning the Short Story Award in 2021, my last year of high school. I write quite a bit of poetry as well as art songs, so classical composition. It wasn't always so, this chink in my armor letting true colour show.
So this is the first time that I've ever heard one of my works put to music.
Crayon boxes.
Made me cry. And it all just came flooding back because I haven't revisited this poem for ages. Like I wrote it
It's really old, right?
I think you wrote it
when
like 20 years
yeah,
ago.
I was like 2 years old probably. It's very close to my heart. I really just relate as a Chinese New Zealander.
It sort of gives the poem a whole new life and new meaning.
Red,
I love how each of the colours has its own mood.
we bundle our money and give it away.
Had you been introduced to Katherine Mansfield by your English teachers at high school? Or
Not really. I kind of had to find all of that myself, which in some ways I think was better, rather than being forced to read it.
This year, I've been exploring her poetry, which is not as well known as her fiction, and it's really interesting to see just how similar the two are. It's almost like Katherine Mansfield concentrated.
Were you involved in the centenary stuff as well? Yes?
Yeah, so somehow I ended up being on a whole bunch of posters and on the backs of buses for the Mansfield centenary sort of campaign. And the whole idea behind it was, what if Mansfield was a fashion label? I just picked up this cello and played it like a bass guitar. So I was like, oh, well, might as well. And the whole idea was to sort of capture that spirit of Mansfield, that sort of, you know, the innovator. It's really lovely to see how that spirit is still being celebrated and reinterpreted.
You're the Mansfield poster boy.
I'm the Mansfield poster boy.